Hey everybody, your good buddy 650 Eve here. Welcome to season 4 of the new bike build series. We're taking a 2018 Yamaha R1M and we're going to install some amazing parts onto the motorcycle, mainly supplied by our good friends Manny at Moto Million. At the end of the build series, we are giving this bike away to someone that is viewing these videos. Information on how you might win this bike, like 4 other people have already done, is in the description. In today's episode, Zack's here.
How's it going?
Hey man.
Thanks for coming back and watching.
Yes.
We got some of our first modifications going on. We got rid of the license plate and changed our tail light to a integrated one.
Oh yeah.
And added some lights here, and it really does. It looks pretty cool at night. It really changed the way the back of the bike looked. Just getting these here, don't you think?
I do. I totally agree.
So we're ready to move on to the next step. I got enough miles on it. It looks like we got 523 miles showing on the odometer there.
Wow. Thanks to Zack.
So we're ready to do the break-in service, which is pretty much just an oil change.
Okay.
And again, just as you can see the difference between the Japanese stuff and the German is all you really get is this checklist, where before we had something that we needed to print out and work through. And so it says 600 miles. So we're going to do the 600 mile checks, which is check your clutch, check your brakes, rear brakes. Make sure there's no play in the steering head bearings, side stand switch, and engine oil.
Sweet.
And filter. And that's pretty much it. We'll check the tire pressure, chain.
Okay.
And that's it. We're good. We're broken in. Didn't really hit the red line too much, just kind of varied throttle and ready to do some major modifications now.
That'll be awesome.
Get it on the dyno and see what it does style.
Okay.
Cool.
Sweet.
Well, let's get going. Let's see what we got to do to change the oil. And then we'll start with that. Actually, we'll warm it up first.
Okay.
I always want to just have the oil warm. It doesn't have to be hot. And we'll just test the brake lights. Turn signal.
Yep.
Side stand test. Just put the side stand down and put it in gear. The bike should shut off. It did.
Yep.
And then we're gonna leave it in gear. Keep the clutch in. Make sure our clutch switch is good. Start in gear. Just let it warm up to like 135 degrees or so.
Okay.
It just suspends all the dirt or any metal or anything in the oil so that it comes out when we drain it. Okay. You don't want it super hot so you burn your hands.
Right.
Like you know. So that's pretty good. We know all our safety switches are in order, all the lights work. 6mm, break it free. Don't want to touch the exhaust pipes. And get it draining. Still looks nice, has a good brown color to it. It's not super black or anything. Tell it hasn't been overheated. No big chunks of metal. That's always good. And then while that's draining, we'll move over to the other side, I believe. Yeah, our oil filter is right behind here. So, at a minimum, we have to pull this bottom piece off. But I think it'll be easier to just pull the whole side fairing. Alright, so it looks like if we remove the panel over the exhaust and just the 2 quick release fasteners, we'll have enough room to free our oil filter. Uses the same filter wrench as a Honda. Plenty of room to slip it out.
Nice.
So now we just leave that drain for a couple minutes. We can prep our new filter while we're waiting. Yamalube, of course. I always like using the oil that the manufacturers provide.
Yeah.
For the most part, because they spend a lot of money researching which oil should be used in their engine. So
makes sense.
At least while it's under warranty, and if you're not looking for every performance edge, I would just stick with what's recommended.
Good call.
If synthetic isn't recommended, don't need to switch until later on. If it is, go make sure you do use it. It is recommended for this bike, for sure. So, also on strain, we can do some other quick inspections. We're just gonna make sure brake pads still look good, which they should, unless a caliper was hanging up or something. They look just like brand new, like we expect. Make sure nothing crazy is lodged in the radiator. Take a look at the back of the radiator. No signs of leaks of any kinds of fluid from valve cover gasket or anything. Water pump. No signs of fluid leaks from the water pump that's back here. Check our brake fluid levels. They're still good. Rear brake pads look good. Make sure I didn't keep my foot on the rear brake the whole time I was riding it.
Yep.
The chain's probably pretty loose. Haven't done anything with that. Yeah, definitely need to tighten that up a little bit. Take a look at the shock right at the base is where I want to look. Make sure it's not leaking. It's not. Same thing with the forks. Take a look. Make sure that there's no signs of oil leaking here.
Okay.
It's not. We can check our clutch replay. It's good. Yes, we'll pretty much just have to come back and adjust the chain, and we'll clean it and lube it too. And that'll pretty much be it for the first service. The big thing is getting the break-in oil out.
Sure.
Yeah, looks good. Not shiny or anything. Comes sealed.
That's pretty cool. Keep dust and everything out of it.
Looks like it already has a grease on it. If it doesn't, you would want to use used engine oil on that face.
Okay.
And then I always like to take a rag and just wipe where this is going to seat on the engine. Two reasons for that. One, it cleans off oil so it's not going to drip after the oil change. And two, it makes sure that this O-ring isn't still stuck to the engine. You don't want to have two O-rings there. This is a case where two is not better than one.
Okay.
You'll have a massive oil leak and you'll lose oil pressure and you could actually blow up the engine. So definitely don't want to have two O-rings behind an oil filter ever. Spin it on hand tight, and then it's always hand tight in 3/4 of a turn. We got some writing there, so we can use that as a reference point. Yeah, that feels nice and snug. Cool. Spray off the oil we got on the exhaust. Probably. Yep, even from running it, it's cool enough to touch already.
Okay.
Titanium is amazing in that facet. It cools off very fast. If this was a stainless steel header, I would have just burnt the heck out of my finger.
Oh.
Got all the residual oil off. This piece is just going to slide back up into this fairing. There's two little tabs. Guys are back here. And then these fasteners that Yamaha uses on their body panels are pretty cool. You can see it doesn't look like a normal screw.
Yeah.
It can be called the Zeus type fastener. And what it is, it just goes in and there's a metal receiver piece on the other side. As long as you catch it, it just clicks. Oh, cool. Goes a quarter turn.
That is cool.
Then you know you're back in. They're light. I like them. Alright, so we got our new crush washer installed. You can see we're down to just a nice little drip. So we'll start our drain plug back in. Just thread it up in there by hand. And then you can go to your owner's manual. It has the torque spec for the oil filter and the oil drain plug. Again, use some brake cleaner to clean off all the oil that's stuck to the bottom there so you know if it's leaking or not when you're done. Otherwise it just might leave like a drip or two when you park it in the garage, you know?
Yeah.
So we try to clean that all off so it doesn't happen. And then I like to just take some paint and I mark the drain plug. That way I know that I tightened it. for in case someone comes in, asks me a question,
Sure.
pulls me away. I don't have to get my torque wrench out again and be like, oh, did I tighten that?
That's awesome.
I can just look real quick and be like, that's tight.
Nice.
So good to go. We can dispose of our oil filter and old oil in our recycling bin.
Yep.
Again, just give it a double check when you pour it out. No large pieces of metal or anything. Large pieces of debris, that's all you're looking for.
Yeah.
And there's not, so that's good. Check it.
Is it really bad if you overfill the oil?
Yeah, overfilling is almost as bad as leaving it underfilled. If it's just a little bit, no. But it's hard to tell how much you've overfilled, you know?
Yes.
So you can see we're up in the sight glass now. We're about in the center. I'm going to add just a touch more, so we're a little higher. Because again, as the engine gets warmer, and if you were to check it at normal operating temperature, that'd probably be all the way up.
Okay.
So we'll just start it back up, let it run a little bit longer. While it's running, we can double check our clutch free play with the ruler. They have you check it out at the end, and it's supposed to move 10 millimeters, 10 to 15, and we're right there. It's right at about 10.
Okay.
We're going between 2 and 3, so that's perfect. And the last fluid we got to check is our coolant level in the reserve tank. We can see that's good. We'll pretty much just leave it run until it stops smoking, burns everything off.
Okay.
We'll triple check the oil level. We know our drain mold's full, and move on to clean lube and adjust the chain, and then we're all set.
Sweet.
So now we just got to adjust our chain tension. I got that axle nut broken free. Yamaha's a little bit of a tricky bike to get up on a rear stand because you have to really watch out. There's an ABS sensor right here. There's a plastic piece here. They're set up for a different type of rear stand that uses pins.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pitbull has an adapter. We might have to look into getting that. Or
It's the same for the front too. Those sensors are in the front, and I have to use the nipple thing at the front of it to do it.
So yeah, we were pretty loose. Now we're coming back around. We're supposed to be 25 to 35 millimeters.
I remember when I went to the Yamaha Champions Riding School, they said they like these things kind of loose.
They like them looser, so we'll stick to the 25 side then, which or 35 side, yeah. So a little bit tighter, just a little bit. Probably do one more half on each side. Yep. That puts us sitting right at 35 then. And now we'll just double check with our caliper the spacing on each side because we want the chain to be as straight as possible and the rear wheel to track as straight as possible. Let's see, this looks pretty easy so far. 26.9 on this side. This side we always gotta do upside down. .2, so this one's got to come back a little bit farther. And then we'll pop it back up on the rear stand and just clean it, and lube it. Chain brush, clean it off. And we'll just lube it up. I like the chain lube with Molly in it. Always seems to do a good job. It doesn't fly everywhere.
I like that too. I use it as well.
Get the center of the chain, get the outside of the chain so it doesn't rust. You don't want to put way too much on, but it's okay if you put a little bit too much on. Just let it dry and then wipe it off. You can hear it sounds nice and quiet now.
Yes.
Rotates nice and freely. Clean it off the exhaust. Move up our side stand pivot a little bit. to wrap it off the rear stand, and we can do the final check on our oil level. Right up to the top line, perfect. You can see the space up top there.
Yep.
The engine's really hot. We ran it till the fan came on, so that is perfect. All right. Take it for a quick test drive, make sure that everything still functions as it should. You'd be ready to go back to the customer, or in our case, we're ready to take it apart.
All right.
Okay, so after we got done with the oil change, just a couple other checks would be throttle free play, and that's how far this throttle twists. This bike does still run cables, even though it's drive-by-wire. The cables go to a sensor, so the cables can stretch, and then you need to adjust them. Okay. If there's too much free play, it makes for a really jerky ride.
Yeah.
This is actually perfect. That's about exactly what you want, so we don't have to mess with it.
Okay.
And then we just got to check our tire pressure, which about 36 psi on both tires works well.
For the street?
Yeah, for the street. You could go a little higher in the rear if you're riding with a passenger. We're right on.
36?
Perfect. So cool. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Zach.
And have a good day, everybody.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
Yep, catch you next time.
So Zach is about to take this bike for his little test ride there, make sure everything is okay. And then when he returns, we will start doing some really cool stuff to the bike. All right, so somebody's gonna win this bike when it's all done and modded out. It might be you, since you're viewing this video. Information on how you could possibly win the bike is in the description, but for now, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you can get notified when we upload content. New videos are always uploaded to the channel. Build series videos, car videos, bike videos, everything. Stay tuned for more, and as always, thanks for viewing. We'll catch you next time on the new bike build series.